Welcome to Madison Square Garden, home of the 1998 NBA All-Star Game. This is the fourth time New York's hosted the event. Here's a look at this year's All-Stars. Representing the East is Indiana's Reggie Miller, who possesses one of the NBA's best jump shots. Tim Hardaway's a great floor leader, and he'll back up Orlando's Penny Hardaway. Cleveland's Shawn Kemp will make his sixth straight All-Star appearance, his first as a member of the East squad. Kemp will receive help down low from the NBA's second leading rebounder, New Jersey's Jason Williams. Also at forward is Boston's second-year man Antoine Walker, who'll be playing in his first All-Star game. Atlanta's swingman Steve Smith is a scoring threat at small forward, and he'll be joined by teammate and center Dikembe Mutombo, who'll be making his fifth All-Star appearance. Indiana center and Holland native Rick Smits will play in his first All-Star game. For the West, Seattle's Gary Payton will start at point guard. Also in the starting backcourt is Laker Kobe Bryant, who at 19 years old is the youngest All-Star ever. Joining Shaq and Kobe is another Laker, Nick Van Exel, who'll play in his first All-Star game, as well as shooting guard Eddie Jones. That makes 4 LA Lakers who are All-Stars. Sacramento's lone representative is Mitch Richmond, who'll be making his sixth All-Star appearance. Point guard Jason Kidd is second in the league in assists. The West squad will also feature the San Antonio Spurs' Tim Duncan, who is the only rookie to be selected to play this year on either team. And Seattle's Vin Baker is in his fourth All-Star game, his first for the West. Here's the starting lineups. For the West, the guards are Kobe Bryant and Gary Payton. Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, and Kevin Garnett are up front. For the East, Michael Jordan and Penny Hardaway are the guards. Dikembe Mutombo, Shawn Kemp, and Grant Hill are up front. Seattle's George Karl makes his third appearance as head coach for the Western Conference. And Indiana's rookie coach Larry Bird was a perennial All-Star, and now he makes his first appearance as coach of the East. It's time to begin the 48th annual NBA All-Star Game. We're at the start of the first quarter. There's no score.
Here is Michael. The head fake on Garnett. Over him into the lane. With the game's first two.
So much for being sick.
Yeah, I think he's okay. He's got the bounce. He's got the skip. He's ready to put on the show here today.
The countdown at 39 early.
Guarded, by the way, by a defender who's 6'11", Kevin Garnett. Payton into Shaq. For the turnaround on the baseline to tie it at 2.
Well, you got the competition starting early. Everybody's out competing. Everybody wants to put on the show here today. Shaq with the fadeaway J, not known for that, but the players will try to do things that they normally wouldn't do.
Hill rolls it home. He's averaging better than 21 a game. Always a threat to put up a triple-double for the Pistons.
Nobody has missed yet, Bob. I think that's a lot to do with the fact that so many great players are here. There's the first miss of the day. Kobe Bryant, pass by Shaq.
But intercepted by Kemp, who's confronted by O'Neal. The ball out of bounds to the East.
When Michael Jordan curls around off this down screen, he freezes his switched-off defender, and he gets right in the lane. There's no way Kevin Garnett has the lateral mobility to stay with Michael Jordan.
Payton on Hardaway. Mutombo with the screen, and Penny with the bucket.
Everybody's got their A game tonight. Now let's see now if they can increase the tempo. What normally happens in All-Star games is that there's a lot of one-on-one. Larry Bird has a stress passing. What we used to do in the 80s. Let's see if they play together as a team and try to increase the competitive level that's happening out there.
Payton with the spin. Bryant, Kobe's first All-Star hoop.
It's amazing, Bob, when you watch Kobe Bryant practice and work on his game. That ball goes right through the middle of the hoop. There's no luck to those shots. He does have trouble finishing off the dribble, though.
Hill on the drive for his second basket. The East leads it 8-4. Here's Garnett and the Kid, as they call him, in Minnesota.
Everybody is waiting to see what Gary Payton and Nick Van Exel has planned when they get into the game. They say they're going to do something special for us, and I want to see what type of tricks Gary Payton got up his sleeve.
Kemp's turnaround spins out. Payton with the rebound. Shaq into the lane, over Mutombo, the ball knocked away and out of bounds. As you know as well as anyone, Isaiah, even more so than in a regular game, a point guard in an all-star game holds the fortunes of his teammates in his hands, and how the Paytons and the Hardaways and the Van Exels and the others decide to distribute the ball determines the outcome and the MVP.
Oh, you better believe that those guys were treated well this weekend. Everybody probably took them out to dinner, was buying them gifts and everything because they wanted the ball.
They're begging.
Malone missed, but at the other end comes back for the steal. Garnett had to go up and wasn't in position to handle the pass from Payton. A little schoolyard play, and Payton has it as they set it up. He misses a three badly, didn't draw iron. Hill backing away from Garnett.
Bring it back to Jordan.
Hardaway. And Penny, who's played only 17 games this year, missed almost 2 months with a knee injury, but voted as a starter by the fans, hits again. Shaq muscling it up over Mutombo.
Mutombo doing a very good job of forcing Shaq to the fadeaway. Shaq intent always on getting to that basket.
The thing that I'm impressed about is both teams seem to be playing together. There's a lot of passing, there's a lot of movement, they're cutting on offense, and the teams seem to be running their lanes wide also on the fast break.
And the game's first whistle from Bob Delaney, working the game with Hugh Hollins and Bernie Fryer.
A Laker connection here. Kobe Bryant along that baseline off the back screen by Shaquille O'Neal. That terrific ability to hit that spot-up shot, and then Shaq when he is that deep. Pretty nice defense by Dikembe Mutombo, but that fadeaway jumper's going down. Now, Shaq is from this Newark area. He was over in Newark yesterday visiting all his family over there. He's got an uncle, Stanley Harrison, who's the brother of his father. And very, very sick in the hospital. It's a sad story. Shaq did not able to appreciate and enjoy all the festivities because of the sickness of his uncle there in the hospital.
1 or 2 for Shaq at the line. Jordan from the head of the key. And Malone has the rebound. Pegging it ahead for Bryant. Picked up by Garnett. Back to Kobe.
See that?
And Hill comes away.
See, this is the game where you want to have a lot of oohs and a lot of ahs.
Kemp from Jordan. Fouled as he went up.
You know, it don't matter if you make the shot in a game like this. This is where you want to try everything that you can ever imagine. So this is when you want the fans to go, ooh, ah. You know, Shawn Kemp came to my camp when he was 17 years old, and the size that he is now today is the exact size that he was at 17. He was really a man amongst boys, and he played with the same type of intensity. So you have Kobe coming down right here. Kevin Garnett's giving him the ooh, and Kobe comes back with the ah.
But no.
Sometime in these games, though, there's the opportunity to make a simple play, and they try to put a little bit more on it, and it backfires. That time, Kobe unable to convert.
Well, the timing is off. You know, when you got great players like this playing out on the court, it usually takes them about 5 minutes to adjust to get used to each other's timing and rhythm.
Kemp. The East by 5 at 14-9. Here's Payton, who had 17 points and 10 assists in a losing cause for the West last year in Cleveland. O'Neal screening for him. And gets it back on the lob, draws a double team. A much better passer than a lot of people realize. This time he tries to take it to the hoop, and he's bumped by Mutombo for the foul.
See, this is what Shaq, you know, normally wouldn't do. But in an all-star game, he wants to take it between his legs and go behind his back.
This year's Lakers, with Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal, the first team since the 1983 Philadelphia 76ers to send 4 of their players to the All-Star game.
So you got Shaq out on the perimeter now, isolating against Mutombo. And he's trying all the moves that he dreamed about when he was a guard growing up. He went between his legs. He just tried to give him the Steve Smith hitch and go move.
Hill misses. Kemp rebounds, but loses it. And Garnett is on the end line. It'll belong to the East.
We take a break in the action with East leading the West 14-9.
At the new time of 9:30 tonight.
These people were betrayed, as you will be.
Do you know something about
We continue our action at the start of the second quarter. The East leads the West 33-25.
Here's Glenn Rice with his first team going. And the East is back up by 10 at 35-25 in the first minute of the second quarter. Vin Baker fouled as he goes up. Baker went into the All-Star game on a real high note. 41 points and 11 rebounds on 16 of 22 shooting Wednesday night in a home victory against Larry Bird's Pacers.
Remember, you can log on to NBA.com for all the latest scores, highlights, and stories and more. Just go to the NBA's official website at www.nba.com and learn more about what's happening in the NBA.
Baker makes them both. Rice comes back and fires. Long off the back iron. Kidd has the rebound. Between his legs, Robinson couldn't handle it, but Baker was there to pick it up and slam it home.
Jason Kidd missed last year's All-Star game after making it the year before. He was injured, broken collarbone. This for him is his dream game. He's the ultimate creator out there in the Western Conference on the break, and now he's got big-time finishers who can deliver.
From Hardaway.
To be 7-4. Dream about it, Bob. Dream about it.
If even you're dreaming about it, I'm not going to bother to think about it. Eddie Jones fades and fires, and Eddie Jones has it rim out for him. Stick with it, and Smits loses it. It'll still belong to the West.
Did they take the traveling violation out of this game?
Some think they've taken it out of the league entirely, and certainly in the All-Star game, they're not calling it tight. Look at who's in the game right now, and obviously the substitutions come fast and furious. Robinson mishandles it. East ball.
They got two Pacers in the game right now, Rick Smits and Reggie Miller. Let's see if they try to run something for one of those guys and get them involved in the play together.
Miller driving on Kidd, tosses it up on the run, and he'll come to the free throw line. This, in a sense, is Reggie Miller's second home. Madison Square Garden. He's had a number of great performances here in front of hostile crowds he enjoys provoking.
I talked to Reggie Miller Friday, and he was he's a little mad because he feels that they're not getting the type of respect that they deserve over here in the East. They feel that everybody's talking about Chicago, and they've kind of conceded that it's going to be Chicago and Miami, and he doesn't want anybody to forget that, hey, we were here a couple of years ago in the Eastern Conference Finals battling the Knicks.
But Reggie gets the ultimate respect when he comes in here because they all boo him the loudest, and he's well aware of the significance of that.
Jason Kidd. And Jason Williams with the rebound. Second in the league in that category. To the Bulls, Dennis Rodman. Tim Hardaway in a crowd has it knocked away. Goes to the floor to pick it up. And now it's Glenn Rice. Smits.
Glenn Rice's first pass of the afternoon.
Richmond's open. But his three spins out. And another rebound for Jason Williams. The lob intended for Rice is broken up by Eddie Jones. Mitch Richmond is back. Miller cuts him off and causes him to miss the layup.
See, that's when you know they're playing. They're competing. They're not giving up any layups. Michael Jordan warned them early that they wanted to win, and they're coming out to get it.
Hardaway tries another three. It ricochets to Eddie Jones.
Rick Smits is making a mistake. He's trying to keep up with the ball. You just got to stay at one end when you're a big guy, preferably the offensive end.
A two-pointer for Mitch Richmond. Again, his toe on the line. The West back to within 7.
I'd like to comment on a Mitch Richmond situation, Bob. Because, here's a guy who played on basically a losing team his whole career. I think he needs to do more if he's really serious about getting to that championship level. He's going to have to take a sacrifice, a pay cut to get what he wants. He cannot have both.
One of the great catch-and-shoot players in NBA history, Reggie Miller, doing just that. What he does best in that last sequence. Here's Vin Baker muscling one home.
You got to admire what Vin Baker has done to his body. He was a guy, when he first came into the league, was a very skinny kid. He spent a lot of time working out in the summer and has gotten his body to the point where he can go down and perform under the low post.
Kidd locks it up there for Eddie Jones.
Nice. Now see, that's Jason Kidd and Eddie Johnson and Eddie Jones. And the alley-oop finish.
We now jump ahead with 3 minutes left in the first half. The East leads the West 57-49.
After the two free throws, shows David Robinson has 10. Steve Smith connects on a 3.
3 points for Steve Smith.
Van Exel trying to find Kobe. Too long off the glass. Jordan back on the wing to Smith. Off the baseline.
Now Steve Smith was another one of those guys who grew up in Detroit, came to my camp when he was in high school, out of Persian High School.
Jordan spinning ahead, saving it, intending it for Smith, but now Gary Payton has it. Van Exel into the lane. Nick Van Exel.
Van Exel.
Bob, Nick Van Exel grew up an only child in Kenosha, Wisconsin, halfway between Milwaukee and Chicago. He said his dreams as a kid were just to go to Division I and be on TV every now and then. Now here he is at the ultimate game.
Kobe Bryant couldn't stop Michael Jordan. Robinson came over to try to help on a double team, but Michael hit the hoop anyway.
You know, the players want to see Michael and Kobe go at it. Every time one of them gets the ball, they kind of let them isolate and go one-on-one.
Bryant tries to answer at the other end. It's no good. Duncan misses the little hook, and Kobe has it back. Antoine Walker with the steal. Sometimes in this game, it's hard to recognize who your teammates are. Here's Smith for 3. And Steve Smith is on fire.
He and Howard Isley were in the same camp of mine. Rashawn Leonard, all those guys.
Van Exel floating through the air, and Jordan has the rebound. 67-51 East.
With all those campers listening to those lectures you gave.
Well, not only the lectures that I was giving, but Magic Johnson was there, Mark McGuire was there, George Gervin was there. We used to have some great games out the camp.
Jordan gives it up to Kemp inside. Robinson deflects the shot, and his teammate Duncan has it. Last minute of the half. Duncan can't finish it, but Payton can.
Now that's the creativity of the young guys. Kobe Bryant just made a dribble move on the run that I've never seen before. He took it behind his back the reverse way and then dished it off to Tim Duncan.
Jordan stuck at 13 as that one spins out.
The West guards are rebounding the long ball better than the East.
Van Exel hits cuts the East lead to 67-56.
But that's the first three-pointer for the West today in 8 attempts.
Staying your seats at halftime for a very special New York Broadway presentation.
Antoine Walker backs up, cranks up a 3. Bryant with the rebound. The clock is stuck at 27 seconds.
We take a break with the East leading the West 67-56.
They come from the toughest courts on earth.
We're at halftime in New York. Let's check out some first half highlights. And from the start, Michael Jordan displayed his amazing offensive moves. Kobe Bryant then displayed his scoring versatility. First from behind the three-point line. And then he did what he does best. A high-flying dunk that excited the Garden crowd. But his airness wasn't finished yet as he flew in for this explosive tip slam. For the young phenom Bryant once again dazzled the crowd. And Jason Kidd ended the first half with a great assist to Eddie Jones for the alley-oop, as the West bench seemed to enjoy the show. Now here's a look at the halftime stats. The leading scorers for the West were Kobe Bryant and David Robinson with 10 points apiece. Vin Baker and Mitch Richmond both had 8. For the East, Michael Jordan led all scorers with 13 points. Glenn Rice scored 11, and Steve Smith scored 8 points. We're at Madison Square Garden for the start of the third quarter. The East leads the West 68-57.
Shaq with the pass from Payton, can't bank it home. And Shawn Kemp has it for the East. They lead by 9. Penny Hardaway. Tim Hardaway of the Heat felt that he deserved the All-Star start. Michael missing, and so he's still at 13. Insofar as Penny played only 17 games in the season's first half, but the fans voted for Penny. Here's Penny.
But Bob, there's some historical context to that comment, because in '92, when Magic won the MVP, we had the flashback earlier. Tim Hardaway gave up his starting spot to let Magic start. Magic hadn't played that year. Tim Hardaway went to Penny and said, hey, look, that's the way I feel, and I'm not changing my mind.
Grant Hill hit for the East. Kevin Garnett answers for the West. Garnett is the first All-Star starter from Minneapolis since George Mikan in the 50s. Jordan with a smile on his face, toying with Karl Malone. Kemp. Malone has the rebound. Payton accelerates, dishing to Garnett. Over Kemp. He's hit 2 in a row.
You know, when Garnett was in high school, when I was scouting him, he played every position out on the floor. But his favorite position, believe it or not, was the point guard position. He fancied himself as being a big Magic Johnson.
And that might work against him because he's been catapulted into this level. And in the game for Kevin Garnett is not quite there yet because of that huge contract he signed, and now he's got to live up, and believe me, his life will never be the same. And why not with $126 million?
Shaq missing the fadeaway, and Kemp has the rebound. Mutombo had the last basket off a Penny Hardaway pass for the East.
John Kemp has quietly put together a nice game here this afternoon.
Hard to do anything quietly, though, in this game. Understatement is not the coin of the realm tonight. Here's who's on the floor right now.
You got the one-on-one. You see everybody clears out.
I'm not so sure what that was, but Kemp has it. Now Malone takes it away. Who wants it?
Well, Shaq was protecting his buddy.
That was a
Garnett. Giving it to Kobe. Thought about it for a second, but decided, hey, I'd like to try the windmill jam.
That was nice. That was nice.
Payton has 10 assists now.
Remember, Payton had 15 assists in the game that Mitch Richmond won the MVP back in Phoenix. Shaq really closing down the middle.
Mutombo. You know, when we talk about Penny Hardaway starting, or Kevin Garnett, who might not be the best player right now on his own team with Stephon Marbury and Tom Gugliotta. Someday he'll be the most valuable property there, no matter how good Marbury and Gugliotta may be. But it's a matter of who the fans wanted to see, like this guy, Kobe Bryant. The starters, at least, are the province of the fans. The reserves voted on by a consensus of each conference's coaches. Kobe admits. Jerry Reynolds, who used to coach Sacramento, now their director of player personnel, said, look, we accept it's a popularity contest. If you put Little Penny on the ballot, he'd start.
That last play, though, by Kobe Bryant is an example of what he really needs to do to get to the next level. Being able to score off his own dribble when everything is too far extended. The only player who really does that, though, right now is Michael Jordan.
Big Penny misses. West back with the ball.
Nice tip away by... Which Penny is that?
That would be Big Penny. Okay. And to Kidd, Garnett misses.
There's the finals matchup right now. He looked at
it. The Jazz swept their 2 games during this regular season against the Bulls. Beat them in Chicago and in Salt Lake City. Hill floats. Doesn't hit it, but the tip is there for Shawn Kemp. Bryant ahead to Shaq. Mutombo all over him and wrestles him down.
Mutombo told us Friday he wasn't giving up anything. He said no free lunch, no free chili. If Shaq gets it underneath, I'm fouling him. I'm not giving anything.
Shaq out in transition, the absolute best player in today's game, a big man up and down the floor. Now, Shaq told me that he asked for 100 tickets. He only got 20. How disappointing.
Well, Shaq with a somewhat checkered all-star history. He's been selected all 6 years he's been in the league. Last year he was injured, didn't come to Cleveland, took some criticism for not showing up to be honored among the 50 greatest of all time. In '94, playing for the East, George Karl, this year's West coach, George coaching the West for the 3rd time, doubled and sometimes triple teamed him, held him to 8 points, and Shaq was really steamed. Here's Michael from 20. He's missed 3 in a row in this second half. And in '96, Shaq had 25 points and 10 rebounds in San Antonio. Jordan steals it, sets Penny up. He juggled it away, so he couldn't go into the full-fledged act there, so he just kind of lays it in. And Shaq in '96, playing in San Antonio, where he went to high school, felt that maybe he should have been the MVP, and they gave it to Michael Jordan instead. So he's had some all-star disappointments, even though generally he's played well in the game. Malone with the basket at the other end.
Won that All-Star game last year in Cleveland. Shaq had a great game, but Michael Jordan did something that hasn't been done in an All-Star game ever. he recorded a triple-double. So Jordan deserved the MVP.
Which he also did last year.
Now that move that Shaq just performed is something that he's been working on. And as Shaq gets older, his game continues to develop and grow in the low post. He's starting to find his way and starting to find his space in the low post. And he repays Mutombo back for the...
We take a break in the action with the East leading the West 80-69.
They come from the toughest courts on earth.
Back for more third quarter action with the East leading the West 83-69.
Malone. And Karl Malone hits. He's been quoted this week as saying, you know, I'm really not a Showtime player. All-Star games aren't for me, but he has twice been the MVP in '89 and in '93. Hill off the Hardaway pass, and then Jordan intercepts the inbound.
Well, this is Karl Malone's first All-Star game without John Stockton, and he told us Friday that he feels kind of lost. He doesn't know what to do without his partner out there, but if he gets hot, he says he wants a lot of time and he wants the ball.
MJ slithers inside Bryant, and a goaltending call on Shaquille O'Neal, but he really took the youngster to school on that exchange.
Isolated along the baseline, to back him down. You look inside, the little hitch, the step underneath. Kobe hung out to dry. Shaq only the goaltend possibly.
But see, that's what teammates do, Bill. You're not going to embarrass my teammate. That's what Shaq said.
Kobe for three.
That's where Kobe is much better than creating off his own dribble. Spot-up shooting, one quick dribble here and then up.
See, when Sean Kemp's dunk, I love the antics that he does after his dunks. You know, the little moves that he does.
Garnett, that's a two-point attempt. Kemp has the rebound. Hardaway set Kemp up for that dunk with a nice pass. This time it's Hardaway to Mutombo.
Way to reward the big fella. The big fella gets out and run. You got to give him the basketball.
Bryant now has 13 after hitting the three a moment ago. Shaq to the foul line for the jumper.
The East has so many of these 6'7" guys like Grant Hill who can dribble it out after their own rebound.
Bryant puts it up. And the toss is in hard. Now, I'm not sure if he traveled there or if he had some kind of violation, because I'm not sure I've ever seen that move before, but the official said, hey, it's a show, we're watching it like everybody else.
That's the same dribble move that he used in the first half. It's a move that I haven't seen in basketball before. His creativity is amazing.
Payton with an easy one.
Well, he wanted to pass it off the board to Shaq, but Dikembe saw the whole thing coming and stayed at home with Shaq.
Hardaway.
None of the shot blockers are coming, Bob. They're all standing with their own guys so they don't get dunked on.
Defense taking a holiday, especially in the last few minutes. Uncontested layups. Bryant with a three. Displaying the full range. He has the incredible hook sandwiched in between a pair of threes, and now Hill with the slam.
Kobe's putting on the show. He's got Magic jumping out of his seat. He got everybody in here going crazy.
He's got 18. Malone is short with it. Jordan, who has 15, comes back into the lane, off balance, and gets the roll.
That's what you love about Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Now Mutombo may have touched that ball on the rim. It was going in anyway.
The referees have pocketed the whistles, Bob.
Well, when you're Michael Jordan in this league, you got to get some breaks. You got to get some calls, particularly in the All-Star game.
They give the basket to Mutombo, though, not to Michael. And O'Neal hits the little hook. Back comes Hardaway.
We now jump ahead in the All-Star game with under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The East leads the West 99-88.
Here's Van Exel. It's in and out, and Jason Williams has the rebound. When you saw the high scores a moment ago, Jordan at 17. They changed that basket back again. Remember, Jordan took the jumper. Mutombo might have been guilty of an offensive goaltend, but he shoved it back home. But at first, they gave the basket to Dikembe, and now they've changed it to Jordan. So give Michael 17. Here's Eddie Jones driving. Vin Baker comes away with it. The ball out of bounds to the West.
It's just so nice to see David Robinson back in this game, Bob. I mean, a year ago with the back injury and the foot surgery where they put the pin in there, he didn't believe himself that he was going to make it back.
Mitch Richmond short with the two-point attempt. Williams has not scored in this game, but he has a bunch of rebounds. He's got 6 of them in limited duty. Here's Tim Hardaway tossing one up, no good. But Glenn Rice is there for the follow.
You know, when we talked to David Robinson Friday, he told us when we were standing on the stage, Bill, with the 50 greatest players, it killed him not to be in that All-Star game in Cleveland. And he is so pleased with himself that he's been able to come back from the type of surgery that he's had and made the All-Star team again.
Van Exel marauding through the lane and tossing it home.
While we're on the 50 greatest players, it was amazing that Isaiah Thomas was the only guy there who none of his teammates were on that 50 greatest roster. That's how good this young man was.
Van Exel racing back the other way.
I didn't realize that, Bill, that I didn't have a teammate there until I went to talk to you, and you were standing there with 5 Celtics. Then it dawned on me, you know, that's why we couldn't beat you.
Pretty good players on those teams. David Robinson has been playing with a bad shoulder for a while, and he comes out rubbing it there.
You got the penetration in the lane, and he cups it and finger rolls it. You know, as he drove through the lane to protect the basketball, he cupped it so he can bring it out and finger roll it, a la George Gervin.
The East has led all the way. They're up now by 11 with 17 seconds to play in the third quarter. Robinson cuts it to 10.
Nick Van Exel was especially appreciative of the encouraging words all season long by his good friend but opponent, Gary Peak, who has constantly said, Nick, you'll get there one day. Just be patient.
Rice was hammered, no foul call. Slings it the other way as the buzzer sounds.
That's the end of the third quarter from the 1998 NBA All-Star Game. The East leads it 101-91. East leads the West 107-95.
And Jordan nails a 3 for emphasis as we discuss the situation.
Yeah, and the guys that you talked about, though, they're not at the level that Michael Jordan is, or Magic Johnson was, or even myself. Those guys that you're talking about, they haven't won championships.
And so you say to yourself, regardless of what friction there may be, as we watch Michael hit the triple again, between Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause and Phil Jackson, regardless of how enamored Jerry Krause may be of Tim Floyd of Iowa State, if you got a team that can win another championship or contend for one, and if Michael Jordan says this is what I want, and it's worked to the tune of 5 titles and maybe 7 had Michael not gone away to play baseball, what's the problem in bringing them all back?
You're asking the wrong guy, Bob.
It's a rhetorical question, I guess. I believe I'm preaching to the choir with you two. Reggie Miller hit at the other end. Now Van Exel with a 3 as well. And Jason Williams, the closest thing to a hometown star, grew up in the Lower East Side of New York. College at St. John's, now representing the New Jersey Nets. With Patrick Ewing hurt, there's no Nick in the game. Miller for 3, as he's done so often in this building, and he turns to face Spike Lee. But this might be the one night when Spike is actually rooting for Reggie, since he's got to be as a Knick fan, pulling for the Eastern Conference.
Bob, Spike never roots for Reggie. Every time he sees Reggie in the Indiana uniform, he roots totally against him.
Reggie almost quit the game of basketball before this season. He's had all kinds of problems, the injuries of a couple years ago. Somebody comes in and foolishly, stupidly burns his house down, destroys his whole lifetime of collection and stuff. Larry Bird, when he took the coaching job, he called up Reggie and said, hey, Reggie, look, I know you're going through a lot of trouble here. We need you. We got something that's really special here. Please, please stay with us. We think we can turn it back around. Reggie reluctantly came back to play, and it's really paid off.
And when you talk about Reggie's house burning down, to show you what type of league this is, how the player and the commissioner looks out for the family members, David Stern has taken it upon himself to start a memorabilia collection for Reggie Miller to get back all the stuff.
Van Exel tried to set his teammate Eddie Jones up when Eddie couldn't finish. Van Exel was there, but there may have been a foul before Van Exel attempted his shot, and there was, so Eddie Jones is coming to the line.
Well, this is like a regular Laker game right here, just coming down in waves, throwing the ball up above the hoop and throwing it down.
Well, there's a great all-star tradition of helping to get your teammates off in this game. Karl Malone, the 2 times he won MVP, had 28 points in each game. Stockton had 17 assists the first time and 15 the second time when he shared MVP honors at the Delta Center with Karl Malone.
I remember that game that those two won the MVP there, but the thing I remember most about that game is that was Shaquille's first all-star game. And I remember him coming to my room asking me for advice. And Joe Dumars and I were sitting on the bed, and this 7-foot guy comes in, and he was the first one to turn Joe and I on to rap music. He was rapping, singing a song about Snoop Doggy Dogg. And that's when Joe and I looked at each other and said, you know, I think we're getting a little too old for this stuff now.
Jordan spins into the lane. The up and under is there for him.
And you obviously told Shaq to inbound the ball, block a lot of shots, and rebound and throw long outlets.
When the guy's that big, you don't say anything to him but okay.
Van Exel threw a crowd with a miss. Jones out of the power ball, puts it back up and no good. Vin Baker has it blocked, and here's Michael. Jordan has 22 points, bouncing to Miller, and Reggie can't finish it. Van Exel slings it back the other way. Jones pulls up for 3. Vin Baker blocked by Smits. Into the hands of Michael.
Vin Baker pushed Reggie Miller out of the way, and Rick Smits came behind him and said, don't push my teammate.
Smits at 7 shoulders behind the back to give Jason Williams the bucket.
The Duncan Dutchman on the behind-the-back pass.
We take a break in the fourth quarter with the East leading the West 119-96.
She's swapped bodies with her worst enemy.
I am not Callisto. I'm Callisto.
It's the ultimate face-off on Superhero Saturday.
Don't even think of stopping me.
At an all-new time.
Ooh, I like
Oh.
We're back in New York as you take a look at the 2 leading MVP candidates. The East leads at 119-96 with 6 minutes left in the game.
There have been 3 MVPs off losing teams. Bob Pettit of the Hawks in 1958, Dr. J in 1977, Magic Johnson in 1990. Rick Smits from the head of the key.
Smits is feeling it now. You can just see it in his face. Finally, his health returned to him this year. The feet looking, feeling very good.
Well, the East players has taken a cue from Michael Jordan early in the game. He told him when he first got here this week, he wants to win this game, and the East has come out to show their dominance. And we talked to Bird, he talked about playing Jordan at the point.
Michael misses with the left hand, but Antoine Walker of the Celtics slams it home and makes sure folks notice it. Eddie Jones with the reverse.
Very nice.
Well, talking to Eddie Jones, he talked about how he's changed his dedication this year. Last year, he tailed off at the end of the season and did not play well in the playoffs. And it was because he stopped working out off the court. He made himself to work out throughout the season in that weight room with his physical trainer, and he is convinced that those moments of inconsistency that have plagued Eddie Jones are now a thing of the past.
I know from experience from being in GM in Toronto that when you put the fear in the player's heart that you may send him from Los Angeles to Sacramento, that'll make you play a little better and work a lot harder.
Antoine Walker for 3. He has that kind of range, but he misses. He had a 49-point game earlier this year against Washington. That matches Michael Jordan's 49 against the Clippers for the high output in the league this year. In and out for Eddie Jones. And here comes Reggie Miller, who scored 14. The East by 25, 125 to 100. Coming up on 4 minutes to play in the game. Walker. And Duncan the rebound.
Do you think Larry Bird is trying to play Michael Jordan a lot of minutes to suck up to him?
No, because I think he's trying to wear him out, possibly. Smits with the very nice block there.
And there's Larry Bird, a 12-time All-Star.
We now jump ahead in the action with 3.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The East still leads the West 127 to 102.
Garnett. We've heard tonight that Michael has the two most esteemed predecessors of his telling him not to retire. Garnett with the dub. Magic is working on him. Larry Bird's working on him. Millions of fans would say the same to him if they had an opportunity.
Well, we just don't want Michael to leave the game. You know, Magic, Bird, myself, the way we had to leave the game, it was because of injuries or other reasons. And we don't want Michael to look back and turn around and want to do something that he loves so much and leave it too early.
But Isaiah, I think the great players, of the guys you just listed, you have to play it out, because that helps validate the next generation when they finally get to the point where they can beat you. When age and injury does catch up, then it says, okay, now we see these new guys, and they really do have it.
We now jump ahead with under 3 minutes remaining in the game. The East leads the West 127-106. Now, let's take a look at some of Michael Jordan's career highlights in the All-Star game.
2 years ago in San Antonio, he led the East to victory and won his second All-Star MVP award.
Now, Michael, this is the first time, Bob, excuse me, this is the first time that Michael Jordan has played for Larry Bird as a coach. And I asked Michael what his favorite memory of Larry Bird was. And he went back to the 63-point game in the '86 playoffs, Jordan's second year in the league. And Larry, who was the MVP at the time and the champion, Larry got Michael guarding him in the low post. And Larry just eyes lit up and he said, I got a little one down here. And he said, give me the ball. Give me the ball, give me the ball. Jordan comes down and Bird switches onto him, so Jordan starts hollering, hey, I got a big one. I got a big one out here. They just kept going the rest of the way on his way to 63 with Big Little.
Michael Jordan just made one of two. The first one he shot conventionally. The second one, you were able to see he did what he sometimes does in a game that's a blowout, or a game like this, the All-Star game, which is both an exhibition and a blowout, as it turns out, 128-106. He shot the second one with his eyes closed and missed it. Steve Smith off with a three. Jason Kidd with the world's longest tap attempt from about 10 feet. Here's Garnett.
But Jordan's the type of guy that even though he shot it with his eyes closed, he's mad that he missed it.
Look what George Karl's got out here for the West right now. You're talking all the young guys. Van Exel, Eddie Jones, Kevin Garnett, Jason Kidd, Tim Duncan.
Smith missing the three. West ball out of bounds. 1:39 to play. East by 20. This is the second foul shot by Michael. Eyes closed, and it's off left. Oh, no.
And he's probably mad that he missed it. But what the young guys should do is take advice from the older guys. Seek one of the older guys out. When I came to my first All-Star game, I saw Kareem out to ask Kareem, how do I handle my career? How do I go about being a champion? The one thing that Kareem told me when I first came into the league as a rookie was, Isaiah, stay grounded and stay humble. And that was the best advice that I ever got in an All-Star game.
Eddie Jones slices through. 13 for him.
The guy that was my mentor coming up,
Glenn Rice,
was Steve Jones. He's now in the cyberspace.
The snapper.
Absolutely.
Steve Smith gets the basket on the follow.
So, Isaiah, who's your pick for MVP?
Michael Jordan. It has to be Jordan. His team won. He's the leading scorer. And this is what the young players got to learn. Even though you come out and you put on a show and you entertain the fans, the bottom line is you still have to win, and you got to win championships to be considered one of the greatest ever.
A rainbow three from Glenn Rice.
But Jordan came out and set the tempo early. The first drive in the middle, get the team off to the lead, hit the jumpers, while all the hype and everything and the spectacular plays went to Kobe. Michael leading the team to victory with the discipline, with the fundamentals, and the conditioning. I think the conditioning of Jordan is so often overlooked. He works so hard at being at the top.
Eddie Jones with it as we play out the final seconds. Van Exel, an unguarded three, way off. Kemp firing ahead for Smith. He'll take it.
Now, both of those guys play every summer against each other at St. Cecilia Recreation League.
Kevin Garnett. missing, but considering it's just the final seconds of an All-Star game, he can say, as he does in those commercials, that it was tastefully done.
And if I'm all these young guys right now, knowing that this may be Michael Jordan's last game, I'm running to ask him for his gym shoes and will he sign them for me?
That's it for the 1998 NBA All-Star Game. Our final score, the East 135, the West 114. Now it's time for our NBA postgame show and a look at some final stats. The East shot over 52% from the floor, going 57 for 109. The West shot just over 40%, going 46 for 113. The East hit 11 of 25 three-pointers, while the West hit only 4 of 23 from behind the three-point line. Lakers center Shaquille O'Neal had a beautiful spin move onto Dikembe Mutombo for the baseline dunk. Then, Shaq's teammate Kobe Bryant had this spectacular play, a behind-the-back pass to himself, and then finishing the hook shot. Center Rick Smits had this amazing assist, as he also went behind the back to Jason Williams. Then the East started to run away with the game, as Grant Hill fed Shawn Kemp for the slam. But the best performance of the night came from his airness, Michael Jordan. He finished with a game-high 23 points and was named the All-Star Most Valuable Player for the third time in his illustrious career. Now here's a few words from Michael on this achievement.
I've had some great games here. The fans have always treated me with the utmost respect. I think to come back here and play in front of the fans here means a lot. This is basketball's Mecca, and I've enjoyed playing here, and I look forward to hopefully coming back one day.
Here's a look at the current NBA standings. The Pacers lead the Central Division while the Bulls are in second place. The Hornets are in third. The Hawks are in fourth place. In the Atlantic Division, the Miami Heat are in first place. The New Jersey Nets are in second. The Knicks are in third. The Wizards in fourth. The Magic are in fifth place. In the Midwest Division, the Spurs are in first place. The Utah Jazz are close behind in second. The Timberwolves are in third. The Rockets are in fourth place. And in the Pacific Division, the Sonics are in first place. The Lakers are in second. The Suns in third. The Blazers in fourth. The Kings are in fifth place. That's it from Madison Square Garden. Once again, the East wins at 135 to 140.